All right, Robert, you there?
I'm here, brother. How you doing?
Good, dude. Sorry if I sound like a dick when you first called. We have the same area code, and I thought it was like one of our drunk friends calling to fuck with us. So I was like, oh, here we go. Oh, Robert Murray, a.k.a. Brotha Blaze. How you doing?
I am outstanding, brother. Outstanding. If I was doing any better, I couldn't stand it.
You're an actor, writer, and poet from Philly, correct?
That is absolutely correct, sir.
What did you do first?
What did I do first?
Out of those things.
That's a good question. Actually, I would probably say I was poetry first because I started that and I dabbled in that in elementary school.
Oh, wow. So that's always been like a passion of yours. That's cool.
Yeah, it's like a way to kind of like it was always like a clever way of expressing myself because I always had a unique way. I didn't like use everybody else's cliches. I thought of my own, so it was like a way for me to express myself uniquely. And especially when hip hop came out, then it actually became cool for me to actually come out being a poet.
I was just gonna say, because I saw too on your IMDb that you did rap for a while. I didn't know if you incorporated your poems into that.
Oh yeah, I think it definitely the hip hop my hip hop experience definitely allowed my poetry to grow in a sense because it was like my punching bag. So rather than it be something that I abandoned in my youth, it allowed me to nurture it all along.
That's cool. That's awesome. Did you just do like underground stuff, or did you get any exposure from that?
I did mostly underground stuff. I had some opportunities, and I'm not going to mention names, so I'm not a name dropper, but I had some opportunities to meet with some people who were established in the business. But unfortunately, at that time, I was young. I was in my teens, and my mind wasn't on business. So certain things fell through because I didn't have the business savvy to stay focused on it. I wanted to party. I wanted to play,
Yeah, yes, that's normal. That is totally normal. I still want that. Have you written, besides poetry, have you written any books or any screenplays or anything like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've been doing a lot. I've been doing mostly acting lately, so I haven't been writing as much. But my first book, Memoirs of a Neophyte, I published in 2012.
Is that a book of poems or is that like an autobiography?
Actually, a book about walking the spiritual path practically. I put a lot of my experiences, different things that I've studied, different things that I've learned along my journey so that it could benefit somebody else who's, walking, even if it's not a similar path to mine, anybody who's walking their own path, things that they can incorporate and learn and help them along their journey. Because at the end of the day, regardless of what doctrine we subscribe to, we're all in this mess together and we're all learning from each other.
Yes.
So I've learned a great deal from books that I've read over the years that planted seeds in me, and I have a responsibility to do the same for other people.
That's cool. Awesome.
So I'm curious, though, what do you mean when you say walking a spiritual path practically?
Was a lot of times, and which was something that I thought when I was younger, is that, it was two different things. Like there's like the physical world, there's a spiritual world, and they don't blend. They're two separate things. And that's just not, I found that not to be accurate. They're one and the same. They feed off of each other. If you're in a bad place physically, you're not going to be in a great place spiritually.
Okay.
So they do mirror each other, and the things we do spiritually are going to affect us physically and vice versa. So I try to put it in a way to like, okay, don't separate it. Let's use one. Let's complement. Let's bring these two worlds, a harmony between these two worlds, so that way we don't get too lost in either one of them.
I like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's amazing. What is one of the biggest tips to stay spiritually healthy that you know of?
Say again?
What's one of like the biggest things of advice you could say for somebody to stay spiritually healthy?
One of the biggest things I would say is remain open. Don't think you know everything. Don't think that this is the way.
Cool.
Your soul is going to lead you to what you need. You know what I mean? Whether you want to say subscribe to say the Most High, the universe is going to lead you towards what you need. And you never know who or what is going to be a teacher for you or give you what you need to help prepare you to take you to the next level to where you got to go. Because as we are right now, we're not good enough for the next level. So we have to undergo that experience and and be made better by a transition so that we are made better for what it is that we truly aspire for, or what is in essence our purpose, what we were put here to do. And so don't get locked into anything that would keep you blocked from making that transition, or so focused that, a lot of people miss their blessings because they're expecting it to come a certain way or in a certain package. And you can miss out on your blessing because your heart's simply not ready to see things beyond the three-dimensional.
Cool.
So you're saying some people might get lost into, like, they might study just one form of spirituality and get really caught up in just that one form, and you're saying they should kind of spread out and explore
and miss other
different
opportunities or other or not learn something because they're just
laser
In other words, we can't lean too much on our own understanding because we're all still learning.
Yeah. I like that.
That's kind of like a Buddhist philosophy. I think they say know that you know nothing is like one of the things.
That's it. That's actually even though it's that is a popular Buddhist phrase, but that's actually a universal concept.
That's cool. Do you incorporate that into your everyday life, Robert, when you act and everything else?
Oh, definitely. If everything I learn the things I learn as a writer, I apply as an actor, and vice versa. Everything I learn, I apply it somewhere. There's no such thing as useless information or useless knowledge. The only useless knowledge is knowledge you don't apply in some way, shape, or form.
Nice. I was going to ask, too, what do you act in? Is it primarily stage acting, or do you do, like, TV work?
I do both. I do film and theater. And I'm trying to get into voice acting as well. I like to think I have a nice voice.
It is.
It is a sexy voice.
Easy on the ears, my friend. It is nice.
I'm not trying to take y'all job. I'm not that good yet.
Oh, you can. You take my job, bro. What are you currently acting in? Is there something right now you're working on?
Oh, I'm always staying busy in something. Currently, I do murder mystery dinner theater.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you try to guess who done it. and I'm doing that at in Bensalem, Pennsylvania, at Fisher's.
We had a guy years ago who ran one, Clive Riddlesborough. I don't know if that rings a bell, but he runs like a dinner theater. I forget where. It's pretty close to here.
Okay. Yeah, so I do that. I also do work with Pirates of Fortune Folly, doing the pirate thing. I was just in a stage play, and I'm currently in a full feature film that's currently still in production. But I think we're going to pick back up in a couple months. And there's some just finished the stage play with the Don Evans Players in Willingboro, New Jersey. The Prodigals by Don Evans. We performed those plays, and I believe we're going to perform them again in the next couple months in Trenton, New Jersey. Cool. So I'm just keeping busy, keeping active, and we keep marching on, brother. We just stay busy. That's the most important thing you can do as an actor is stay busy and stay active in a studio working on your craft.
Now you mentioned your other book, Brotha Blaze. Do you have a book that of your poetry that's out?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's called A Walk in the Human Dynamic, and it is available at bandbooksllc.com for $15 a copy.
Is it digital or a physical copy?
Yeah, physical paperback, yes.
Cool.
It's not digital.
Cool. I was going to ask, too, Robert, would you read us one of your poems?
I can't think of anything right now that would really give me greater pleasure. I really can. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll mute the mics.
All right. I'll call this one Body of America. The organic body of America is truly an interesting thing. Many interchangeable parts makes it run like a well-oiled machine. New York, New York is the state of mind. Washington, D.C. is the brain. California is the hub for all dreams. New Orleans holds the tears of rain. Dallas and Houston are the arms of the law. Vegas' eyes see every sin. The Carolinas are the heart of it all. Chicago is the spirited wind. Phoenix keeps the body warm. Minneapolis keeps it cool. Detroit is the blood of life coursing the veins of Kalamazoo. The backbone is known as Delaware. Tennessee is the helping hand. Denver sits high atop the head. Miami, the pituitary gland. Maine is, of course, the main artery. Wyoming is the lungs. Baltimore is that slick-talking mouth that harbors the Louisville tongue. Atlanta is the smooth skin. Cleveland, the vocal cords. New Mexico, the brows of sweat that opens the Tulsa pores. Every component plays its part in animating a beautiful whole, but the body of America would be but a corpse if not for Philadelphia's soul. That's Body of America.
Wow, I loved
awesome.
it.
Did you not include New Jersey in there, or did I miss it?
No, he left us out. We're the armpit of America.
Not New Jersey. I hope they don't get slighted, but I consider that the greater Philadelphia area.
Yeah, I was just gonna say too, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky you didn't shit on Jersey. That was awesome, Robert.
That was really cool.
So cool. So cool.
Thank you, brothers. I appreciate that.
Do you perform poetry live, like on a weekly basis or anything like that?
I do perform spoken word poetry, not necessarily on a weekly basis, but I have performed it at many different events in Philadelphia, Lehigh Valley, New York, tri-state area. I've performed spoken word poetry at various events. I enjoy doing it. I love doing it, but I think the time is now to actually put a book out because it's great. I love performing. I love to paint a picture for people and use my body as an instrument, which we do as actors to tell the story. But with a book, people can paint a much more vivid picture with their imagination from reading than they can from me actually performing.
Oh, wow. See, I don't know. I'd rather hear somebody. Like, I love the way you said it because
especially
I
your
feel
voice.
like you said it the way you want it pronounced.
Yeah.
You said it the way you want it spoken. Like, I like hearing you recite it, like, that's just me, though.
Yeah, I understand it, but here's the thing, and then a lot of people most people would actually agree with you. But if you were to read it, you see the different cities in your mind. You see what I'm saying? You're subconsciously is going to affect your conscious and your subconscious mind, and you could actually, if I tell you a poem about a street. Yeah, it may sound good. You might get into my voice and get into the syncopation and rhythm of my voice. But if you read it, you might actually smell the street because your imagination's at work now.
Oh, yeah, I got you. That's cool. That's cool. I was going to ask, too, I saw, oh, my God, what was it? You served in the military, correct?
Yes, sir. United States Marine Corps.
Wow. How long did you do that for?
I did 4 years, and then I left to pursue my music.
Oh.
That we were talking about earlier.
Yes. That's cool, though. That's cool. And I saw, too, you know martial arts?
Yes, sir.
I was going to ask if that ever came in handy in acting or if you ever had to use it in real life.
I have used it in real life, and which is, I was never, my father taught martial arts. He passed in 2011, but he taught martial arts, and he didn't have much faith in the belt system. He saw the belt system in traditional martial arts as a way of basically just making money off of people.
Oh.
They perform certain katas or whatever and show a certain skill level, and they basically are buying a belt.
Okay.
He didn't believe in it. He just believed in self-defense. He used different disciplines for self-defense. This is going back before mixed martial arts was a thing, technically. So I love martial arts. I love the training. I've been lately, last few years, I've been kind of lazy with my training. got a little soft and a little heavy, but you know, I do love the martial arts. There's times when I have to use it. Most times I don't. Most times I can reason with the reasonable, and most of the unreasonable really don't give me too many problems.
Or you can just walk away. Yeah.
It's just being blessed with, you know, I don't really find myself in harm's way very often.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to ask. What you studied, but it was like a mix of different martial arts? Yes.
The more heavily influences would be Taekwondo, is most of it. Some Muay Thai boxing, and some Kung Fu training as well. And wrestling and boxing, of course. The males in my house, when I was very, very small, the males in my house, you were either a boxer or a martial artist.
Oh wow! I was gonna ask if you ever got a fight with a family member, and it got to that level.
Yeah, an action-packed sibling fight.
You're having a barbecue, and you and your cousin are just squaring on.
I was actually fortunate that on my father's side of the family, I'm one of the younger. On my mother's side, I'm the oldest, but on my father's side of the family, I'm one of the younger ones. So our generation, they didn't really mess with me too much because I was my father's son. So they weren't going to pick on me because then they had to deal with hell.
They knew they were going to get their ass kicked.
I was spared a lot. And then on my mother's side, I was the oldest, so I basically ran the roost.
Oh, that's the best of both worlds. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I'm curious, being a spiritual man and practicing martial arts and stuff, do you practice any form of meditation?
There was a time when I did heavily. I don't do it as heavily or as often as I used to, but yes, I still do meditate. At present, I'm doing a lot of some guided meditations.
Cool.
Usually, I'm not saying I'm a Blu-ray. I'm not claiming to be a Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray, the connection with the Sirius star. I don't know if you are familiar with that.
No, I was going to ask, what is a Blu-ray? I never heard that term.
Okay, Blu-ray would be like, if you're familiar with many ancient civilizations, they paid a lot of respect and a lot of homage to the Sirius star, Sirius A and Sirius B. Sirius A, that's the star that's called the dog star, the brightest star in the sky. Oh. And it's supposedly the center of the center of our universe, and where basically the spiritual energy generates from.
Oh wow!
And it's that's where it's the blue light, where the whole ice. That's where the pyramids are supposedly aligned with the stars, so that the energy from Sirius can come down into the pyramids. These are so there's a lot of connection to that star. And the spiritual energies associated with that star, like with Tahuti, and not just even the Dogons of Mali. A lot of ancient civilizations, even the Romans, they called them by different names, of course, but they had. So I've been doing some blue light meditations, chakra healing, things like that. So I have been doing some guided meditations, not necessarily daily, but often enough that I am benefiting from it.
That's what I was going to ask you. What are the benefits to meditation, or even that specific form of meditation?
Well, there's many benefits, but my personal experiences in the last week or so has been just clarity.
Yeah.
Just allowing the mind, is basically kind of freeing yourself, allowing the mind to be on its own. It's like we usually get so many impulses because we're always thinking about something. This is the way you just to still your mind and just be. We always want to be something. We got to be this, we got to be here, we got to be there, but we never really take the time to just be. Mm-hmm. And that's when you get in touch with your higher self. You could be open for communication. You could just be open for answers that we've been seeking. Sometimes they will come to you if you just be still. You know, so
it's so interesting because I practice mindfulness meditation, which is just like you focus on your breath, and
I used to do that too.
I
learned that in I took a couple acting classes, and that was one deep breathing meditation and stuff like that.
And the benefits are it's like having a superpower almost. It's weird, it's hard to explain it to other people, but it's like, why don't I do this all the time? And I always fall off. I'll do it for a month straight, and then I just can't keep up. But I know the difference from when I'm meditating daily, I'm almost feel like a completely different person because you don't get lost in your thoughts anymore. You're more aware. You feel more present.
Whenever I did it too, I always remember I got way better sleep than when I didn't. It does.
You're less emotionally reactive to things.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy when you think why don't I just do this all the time? But it's for whatever reason, it's hard to, at least for me in my experience, it's hard to stick to it. It's easy to fall off.
Yeah, it is. It is, because sometimes we can get distracted by things, and sometimes, life doesn't stop because we want to meditate. So it's
that's another thing.
That's exactly.
Yeah, you don't always have time to go into that mode. You gotta do something right then and there. Yes.
I'm curious. So a lot of people say you should, to benefit. I've read studies where they say the only way you're ever going to benefit from meditation is if you do it an hour a day, and then other people say you can do 10 minutes a day. In your experience, how long do you think you need to meditate in any given amount of time to gain benefits from it?
Oh, me personally, or what I would recommend for just the average individual?
I guess the average individual.
Yeah.
I would say if they can do 5 minutes a day, it's better than not at all.
Cool.
Even if it's just 5 minutes a day, you don't have to be, usually to meditate for an hour, that's not something you just do. That's something you build towards.
That's probably why I always
train yourself to do over periods of time.
That's probably why I always fall off.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's probably why I always end up quitting, because I always start off with an hour a day.
Started real big. Yeah, you're I can't do this every day.
Yeah. So usually if it's 5 minutes, 5 minutes a day, and then, or even then you can increase it when you're acclimated to the 5 minutes of good quality meditation where your mind isn't drifting off, and because you're conditioning your mind. You're taking the lower self and you're subjecting your lower self to your higher self. So the subjection takes time. It takes discipline. Just like you were going to the gym when you're out of shape. So you take the time to acclimate yourself and condition yourself, and the body discipline. You can increase that over time. If you try to do too much at once, then you put more on your plate than you can handle. But an hour a day is great. That's a beautiful thing. But somebody's 15 or 10 minutes or even 5 minutes, if that's all they can spare, is still equivalent to that.
Cool.
Nice. Sorry, Robert. Sorry for the silence. I was just looking over my book to see if I had any other questions. I saw too, though. It said you are happily divorced. I was going to ask, how long were you married for?
I was legally married for 1.5 years.
Okay. That's about what I did. Yeah, and I got out of that.
I wish you would have talked to me before I did it, so you could have talked me out of it.
I don't know who would have been the one first. We could have given each other advice. Don't do that, bro.
I always tell people the second happiest day of my life was the day I got married. And the happiest day of my life was the day I got divorced.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was the best. I think it was towards the end of your IMDb. It just said, yes, and Robert is happily divorced.
It almost sounds like you'll get married again just so you can experience the divorce.
Just to get the high from the divorce.
And the reason, it may sound funny, but there is a reason why I say happily divorced instead of just divorced. Because that is actually the most painful thing I've ever been in my life is my divorce. I mean, next to a toothache, it would probably be that.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, at that time you seemed lost. You were, I mean, as men, come on, we like to think we have a certain amount of control in our lives. We feel in control. We want to be able. We like to think that we're steering our ship. You know what I mean?
Yes.
For better or for worse, we're steering it. And that was a moment in life where I didn't know where I was coming or going.
It is. It's a low point. I say it was like one of the
questions and no answers. So I say happily divorced because when I recovered and got over that and actually started to love myself again and be happy, see myself as worthy again, and you know, I made it through. I weathered through the storm, and I came out better, not bitter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Some their lives go to travesty. Their lives, their everything about them goes downhill after a bad experience like that. So I'm like, look, I'm happier than I ever was right now. There's joy in my heart. I walk around with a smile on my face.
That's cool.
And
It is. It's a rough thing to go through. Wow. That's awesome, Robert. Robert, thank you so much, dude. We got to wrap this up, but thank you so much for talking to us.
Hey, I appreciate you, brothers, for having me on, man. And it was great talking to you guys. And I hope to talk to you again soon.
Definitely. Where can everybody find you?
I am on Instagram and Twitter at Brotha Blaze, BrothaBlaze.
Awesome. Thank you, Brother Blaze.
You got it, brothers. Y'all be easy, man.
You too, my friend.